Panel. This is something near and dear to my heart with my work with NAR Global. So what this session is called is going to be Global MLS Mentorship. And as mentioned on the last panel, I think by Jeremy or maybe Emily, but the US has been having an organized MLS system for over 100 years. And it is not perfect by any means, but we're still learning, we're still adjusting, and we're still adapting. So as we're having this conversation to build out more and more international MLSs and create one national standard, how can we, US MLSs, assist these emerging markets in adapting in knowledge in any partnership needed? So with that being said, I want to introduce the panelists. So first is Eileen O'Driscoll, the immediate past president of New Jersey MLS. Thank you, Eileen. Next, we have Alireza Memar, who is a global real estate mentor and instructor with NAR. Thank you, Ali. And Dan, who's a little excited and was up here already. Dan Negulescu from Romania. Perfect. So, Dan, it was mentioned earlier by Ileana from Romania and all of her work to get the MLS set up and established in Romania. I know you, being the modest guy that you are, would not take credit for that, but you have really been a thorn in the side sometimes, but a close partner of NAR and has been coming to the US for over 20 years and understanding and learning the market. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you take examples from NAR and bring it back to Romania? Who did you work with? And tell us that story.
Hello, everybody. And I'm so happy to speak here on Romania's National Day. For me, it's a fantastic thing. And I'm thanking you to be here and listen to us. And I will explain a bit our journey in Romania. So everything started in 2005 when I was in my first NAR conference. I arrived there about this hour. I ran to the meetings. And in the evening, almost dead after I ran everywhere, I went to my room, I saw myself in the mirror, and I said, Dan, if you do not do this in your country, you are the most stupid man in the world. So this was my promise. This was my, how to say, engagement to me that I will bring the model of NAR into my country. And fast forward, today we have 100% Realtor Association in Romania with NAR Code of Ethics, with regulations, rules, tools, and MLS. And when I'm saying MLS, thank you, when I'm saying MLS, it's not so-called MLS, because probably you know that there are a lot of so-called MLSs all over the world. I mean the real MLS, which, by the way, what is a real MLS? It's a perfect environment for cooperation with rules and a dedicated software to apply these rules. So, how started MLS in Romania? I have a very good friend in Romania, Sorin Udrea, who is the best professional that I can know about exclusive representation. And he decided to introduce exclusive representation in Romania. What is exclusive representation? Most of you know because you are using that in the United States. For us, it was something from Star Trek. So everybody in Romania, and not only in Romania, all over Eastern Europe and some Western European countries, they work with both sides, with or without contracts, with or without agreements, so on. This is the middleman, let's say. Exclusive representation, it's working only for one side, either seller or buyer, with contract, exclusive contract, and representing only that part. So Sorin, it was the first crazy guy who did that. I was the second one. And by the way, Ilana was the third one. When she came from United States and she saw what we did there, she joined us unconditionally. So what did Sorin do? He tried to find MLS providers all over United States. He sent a lot of letters to all the big names. Unfortunately, at that time, this was in 2006, only one MLS supplier replied. This was Flex MLS. You know all of this. You know Flex MLS, all of you. And they said, okay, why not? Let's cooperate. So that's why now in Romania, we have a full MLS powered by Flex MLS. And this is the journey so far.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan. And I think that illustrates the point that when you are undertaking a major project like implementing an MLS, implementing exclusive representation, only things like that, you have to pull a lot of information and a lot of help from other groups that have been doing it for a long time. So with that, I'll switch gears to you, Ali. So as an MLS, and you've held leadership positions at New Jersey MLS, it's a big commitment to take this on. And why is it important, or what considerations would you need to take on to really ensure that it is worth your time as an MLS?
Well, it's a lot of layers to answer your question. The most important thing is the cooperation. We're in a very, very unique area as far as our board and our MLS is. We're in Bergen County with over 150 different cultures living there. We have the largest Korean number of Korean people in United States. We have the largest number of Russian people in the United States. We have the largest number of Turkish people in the United States. Same thing with the Indian, same thing with the Costa Rican. We have a very diverse area. And majority of these people, good number of them are immigrant. They come to the business. They have connection to their home countries. And they don't really know what to do. I'm gonna go back, I have many hats. One of my hats in NAR Global. Last 12 months, based on NAR Global numbers, we sold $53 billion of properties in the United States to foreign buyers. And from this $53 billion, New Jersey and New York are usually top 5 states for the foreign buyers. So we have a lot of foreign buyers coming to the state, and we have to provide them with the information. And I get this question asked all the time by agents that they want to work both sides. They have buyers coming from their countries. We have a perfect working MLS. They use MLS. They provide service to their buyers. Now they have a buyer or seller, the backward, going back to their country. The first question I always get is, how do I do this transaction? Well, if there was an MLS, for example, in Colombia, we have a lot of Colombians in our area, or a lot of Indians in our area. If there was an MLS back home, it was very easy. Just go to their MLS, find the agent, refer it to them, done. Well, we don't have that luxury. So as a New Jersey MLS leader by Eileen estimation, I will be the president of New Jersey MLS next year. That's her call, not mine. And so we need to provide it. We need to have this service, the outward from United States. So that makes life much simpler for the agents working both sides. Plus, the agents are looking to list properties. Right now, as an agent in the United States, doesn't matter where you are, you cannot list a property outside in any country, so you have to have agents that to cooperate with you with that listing, which you don't have the luxury to go to their MLS and access their MLSs.
So to sum it up, I would put it in these words. You're kind of preempting an international investment into your market by reaching out and creating these relationships beforehand to be able to educate about the U.S. market and things like that.
That's correct. Yeah, I get asked this question, what do we do? I always tell it, either is a local agent or international agent. You need to do 3 things: education, education, education. Education is the most important part because the technology evolving, the business is evolving, business is changing. 30 years ago in New Jersey, you want to buy a house, you go to a real estate office, there was a book this thick, which was published every week. You go and they page after page, look at the property, let me call, oh, it's sold. Go to the next one. This is under contract. By the time they get to the end of the book, there were 2 properties left. Today, you could go to MLS and find a property and go about showing and selling it. And I, as a person who works internationally and being in leadership New Jersey MLS, I want to see that luxury in the other side of the world as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Eileen, similar question. Obviously, this takes time and resources to reach out and mentor a group, and usually there's exchanges involved with that. From a dollars and cents and business perspective, why get involved with mentoring an emerging MLS from the NJMLS perspective?
So from the NJMLS perspective, I'm going to say for many reasons. Ali talked about layers, and yeah, there's layers. So the first obvious one is revenue. We talk about there's a change. It's not coming, it's here. We're in it, we're sitting in it. So how will NJMLS, for example, and other MLSs look next year? So there is that revenue opportunity there by mentoring and connecting with other MLSs or helping mentor MLSs from other countries. That revenue opportunity is there. So that is one reason. The other reason too is for its members. Ali talked about in our area we're dealing with cultures from across the world, and our members need to be able to connect with those other MLSs. So how easy would it be if our MLS, for example, or any other MLS across the country, were able to offer that to the members? And the other thing we talked about, and it's been discussed earlier today, with these changes, right now we have 1.5 billion realtors in the US. With the changes that are going on, will we have that many in January? When it comes to paying dues, and now we're into next year, will they be here? So the MLSs will be looking for other sources of revenue as well. So this is perfect timing, perfect opportunity.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, is to actually go and establish the MLS and bring subscribers in that way. Really interesting.
Can I add something, please?
Yes.
From the non-US perspective, the education is critical because for us, it's a mentality thing. For you guys in America, you know about MLS for 50 years. You are used to do that, to work exclusively. But for us, or Europe, Romania and other countries, it's a question of mentality. And that's why the NAR involvement in this, with the education, with all the courses, with all the mentorship, it was crucial and it's strictly necessary. So we cannot start an MLS tomorrow in any other country than Northern America without education. But education has to start before, and to be prepared to go in a marathon, not sprint. It's a marathon. We need years in order to honestly to start a MLS outside of America. Who says tomorrow we'll have an MLS? It's either a dreamer or not so well businessman, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. And you've been engaged with NAR and state and local associations for 20 plus years now. How has that relationship evolved over the years? And now that you do have an established MLS within Romania, what does that relationship look like for the next 5 years, 10 years down the road, to your marathon point?
My first contact with NAR leadership was when I was back in 2005. I saw the president of NAR on the stage. I thought he's God, because I couldn't think that me, a Romanian realtor, fresh realtor, can go there and say hello. Of course, I went there. I say hello. It was a line of Americans waiting. I was the crazy Romanian going ahead, and I say, hello, I'm Dan from Romania. By the way, they told me that most of the people think that my name is from Romania. I mean, Dan is my name, and from Romania is my family name, but that's it, okay? So this was the beginning. Now, after 2 times being a board member of NAR, after being International Realtor of the Year, after serving in various committees and after how many, 18, 19 conferences, I can say that I continue to fully trust NAR, continue to fully trust in the NAR Code of Ethics, and I think the NAR Code of Ethics is the Bible of us, of all of us professionals. And by the way, I discussed with some of you outside, I think that a lot of discussions and trials and bad things could be avoided if only we abide the Code of Ethics and understand the Code of Ethics and use the disclosures. Because if we speak to our clients and customers everything about the contracts, they cannot sue us because they knew it. But if we hide it or forgot to tell them, then we are in this situation. So the future about developing the MLS, and now I'm talking about Romania, but can be applicable on any MLS, we need mentorship, we need support from the big MLSs. We need guidance, not mentioning some money if it's possible, but this is not necessarily important. The important thing is we need you guys to trust us as we trusted you, that this is the way to go ahead and to cooperate. That's my opinion.
That's really great. So Ali, I'll kick it over to you. And Dan mentioned that this isn't so much a technical problem or a technology problem. It's more of a mind shift and a mind state and a way of doing business. Now, you work in Dubai, you've worked in Turkey to help usher in a burgeoning MLS there. What are your thoughts on that, of what that education process looks like? How do you go about that? What are the main components that you're teaching?
Well, by the way, I just want to tell something about Dan. He forgot to say now the NAR presidents is standing in line to take a picture with him. So, the man from Romania. The process is all about the mindset. The most important thing is MLS culture, understanding of what MLS can do for you, not what you can do for MLS. So is this what MLS brings to the table, how MLS improves your business, is about the culture of MLS, is about understanding of MLS. Once you can make them understand by educating them, then they will gladly will come and pay whatever they have to pay to have the MLS and provide the MLS for the members, because it makes your life so easy. You have no idea. Anybody here from countries who wants to have an MLS, he needs education, needs a mentorship, I'll be more than happy to help you with a startup.
Perfect. And Eileen, you come from Ireland, and when we spoke on the phone in the prep for this, you mentioned a lot of the questions that the Irish were asking you, and mainly the way we do business and things like that. And you had such a good answer of taking the time to learn these ways. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. You know, I'm here on the screen as New Jersey MLS Media Past President, but I was born in Ireland, as you can tell, and living now in New Jersey, and I'm a broker of 2 real estate offices, practicing broker, and also I mentor and I train new agents coming into the business. And, you know, just going back a little bit further, I think that the consumer is ready for this change. I think our members are looking for this. And, you know, just say for myself, for example, you know, went back home and, you know, I'm asking in Ireland, it's exclusive agency. So we talked about that. You can list it with multiple real estate offices. But I walked in and, you know, I said, can I work with you as a buyer's agent? I don't have time to do this. I'll let you know what we're looking for. And, you know, that concept wasn't understood by one real estate professional. Now, and then, since then we were at the NAR conference, and we have a contingency that comes from Ireland that are CIPS trained. And I have a relationship, obviously, with them, and we've done referrals back and forth. But I brought the same question to them, just understanding it further. And, you know, one of the responses from one of the agents was that person is just not educated. So the person that is educated knew it. Of course, we can do buyer agency, and she laid out her whole strategy for me from point of interview, the buyer counseling session, how you lay it out. And I think that's something that the U.S. is going to have to work on a little bit more with everything that's happening. But she said that opportunity is there. And that was excellent news for me. But then moving on from that, I'll give you another story. My son just purchased a property in Holland. And now I'm the mom. I'm a real estate broker, owner, working in real estate, training and mentoring, and he's looking to purchase a house in another country. So I'm like, okay, I've got to help you find this out. Where can I go? I couldn't go. There wasn't an MLS sheet that I could look. Is it in the flood zone? It's in Holland. Is it in the flood zone? How old is the house? What are the town requirements? If he wants to make any changes, will he be allowed to do it? Who's protecting you? And I do know CIPS agents in Holland, but that's not set up. He's going directly to the seller. So who's protecting him was the notario, the notary. And I'm like, are you asking them the right questions? Because in the US, the notary just witnesses your signature and makes sure that you are who you say you are. So it was very frustrating for me to make sure that everything was correct. So I'm like, make sure you check this, make sure you check that, ask this question. So that if we had a relationship with an MLS there, then I would understand the process more. I would be able to see better. And it's not all about me. I know in our area, as Ali spoke, there are so many other people who have clients from across the world who want to be more involved and want to be part of the process. Now, I'm not talking about taking business away from somebody from another country, but I'm talking about understanding so they can guide them through the process.
That's a really good point. And, things may or may not change in the U.S. with the lawsuits and things like that. But previewing tomorrow, and I'm really glad you brought that point up, is we in the U.S., from an MLS perspective, from a practitioner perspective, we have a lot to learn of how to leverage buyer representation a little bit better than we do in the U.S. and ensure that we have the best foot forward. So tomorrow I'm really looking forward to, and that's a great preview for some of the sessions tomorrow, but learning from some of our European folks of how they do it in a market absent of an MLS. So what is your buyer representation pull? What's the justification for that? So really great example there.
I'm going to add something. This is a misunderstanding the NAR rules about the buyer representation. There is nothing against buyer representation in NAR rules. I've represented many buyers, and I collect a commission from the buyers. Only thing is, when you're writing a contract, everything has to be transparent. Who's paying the commission on this side, or who's paying the commission on the other side, and how much the commission. As easy as that. There is nothing. But the practice has been always, like especially in residential practice, that the seller pays the commission. But in actuality, end of the day, only one side brings money to the occasion, which is a buyer.
Can I add here that, as I told, the code of ethics is the backbone of our business, but also the education is important. And here I have to say that Zola Serences here, distinguished trainer of NAR, bravo Zola, came to Romania and taught us ABR, accredited buyer representative, SRS, seller representative. I mean, for each relationship, it is a course drawn by NAR, and if you apply that course, you don't have these problems. Because Zola told us how to represent a buyer, to talk with him, to give conciliation, to sign a contract, exclusive contract, and to tell there who's paying either the compensation or directly or whatever. It's up to you. He's signing, you represent him, period. So it's not a problem if it's transparent and disclosed. So that's why we don't have your problems from United States in Romania, because we learned from the best. The best is NAR, the courses, and Zola. And we are applying this. Of course, not all of us, but we are applying this, and it really works, guys. So I'm witness that it works. Ileana is working like that. And another 300 agents. Unfortunately, we are probably 10,000 agents in Romania. We don't know how many we are because we don't have rules, regulations, anything. But we have only one rule, which is NAR Code of Ethics. And we replaced all the rules and regulations, which are not existing, with the NAR Code of Ethics. So it works. This is an example.
Perfect. So to sum it up, your experience, Dan, in the 20 years plus of the creation of the Romanian MLS, you've gained a lot from learning from the U.S. standards of practice, whether that's from the practitioner side from NAR, whether that's from the MLS professionals. And as we go into tomorrow, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of information that we can talk about from a 10,000-foot view, but really to be able to start from 0 to get to 1 and then 1 to 1,000, you need this advanced help. You need this hands-on training from an MLS that can help you do that. And I know Stellar has been mentioned many times today, but they have done that with their work in Puerto Rico, and it's something that is a lot of work, but it does pay dividends in the long run. So with that being said, one last thing, Dan.
And honestly, being alone, being rogue, trying to do something, sometimes is good. We did it, but we are like that. We need your support, guys, to explode, and not only to explode financially, membership, blah, blah, but to show to the others around that really works. For instance, we have 1.5 babies. One baby is Moldova, because they copied us 100% with the rules, regulations, as we copied NAR, and the other one is Bulgaria, which now intends to start a MLS-only association there. So in 1 year, 2 years from now, I wish that we will have more babies together in this, so only with your help.
From an HR safe perspective.
And Joe, if I could add, sorry.
You were not pointing at me.
Yeah, last comments.
Yeah, if I could add, you talked about mentorship. I think that is super important. We heard earlier about, we've done this. We've made the mistakes. We see what is good, what is not good. So sharing that with, countries that are trying to start this, I think is super important. And as I just see it firsthand with mentoring agents, you got to get them at the start, teach it to them properly at the start, then they'll be, then they'll be able to do good business. So yeah, it's excellent opportunity.
Really good point. And shameless plug for my friend and colleague Alejandro here. Utilize NAR Global for this. They are well positioned. They have the resources for this, and they can make the right connections for you. So,
Thank you.
let's give a round of applause for them. Thank you.